So we're heading right now to a summer transition planting. So basically twice a year, once for summer and once for winter season, we switch the beds over and plant what's appropriate for the time of year. So we had 3 stops today, and this is our second. So here we go. Happy Memorial Day. We love to remember everyone who loves our country. We started with raised beds by their house over here, but eventually they want to do fruit trees along the edge there, which will be awesome. Let's check it out. Wow, look, they're crushing it. Cool, we just installed these springtime. And this is their herb bed, but as you can see, it's kind of about to get really hot. Everything's going to seed, but everything has a use, This could be a cut flower in someone's vase, and it smells like dill. So we're gonna clean up here and plant some summer crops. Far west box, she wants sweet potatoes. Peppers and eggplants can stay. Needs to add more peppers. Spinach in the third box. And then the cocktail box, harvest the coriander. They call the herb garden the cocktail box. So sweet potatoes, spinach, clearly, because, this chard's not too happy. But we'll harvest what we can for her. These okra will go through summer, and then we'll do some spinaches to fill in the gaps. Dude, it is windy. The secret sauce. Whew. What I love about our work is that we're really active. I know I am, so my heart rate's up. I feel good, When you move the body, the mind will follow. So you see, this is the time of year the caterpillars win. We take these out when, kind of heats up and all the bugs come out, and it's kind of run their course. We do have a ton of clients where their kale is still crushing, but it looks like there was a little bit of a breakout before we can get to these. I think of it as opportunity for space for sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes. Wow, look at this Scotch bonnet pepper is crushing. Garlic kale. Stuff was going to seed, man. It usually goes through summer, but that stuff was already going to seed in the pots. It's cool, we try to anticipate when it's springtime builds. We're gonna plant sorrel and okra and celery because they're pretty heat tolerant. So I'm gonna let this sorrel kind of go through summer, I'm not gonna take it out because they're pretty heat tolerant. And it's delicious. It's like lemony arugula. They cook it up and serve it at all the fancy restaurants like Buchan and stuff. People don't realize how easy it is to grow. These get young child, it's on its way. This client has been loving our service, because they didn't know where to start with the veggie garden, and boom, we just did a turnkey garden for them. So they're loving it. But last time I talked to them, it was cool. They gave me great feedback. They were like, hey, we don't know how to harvest, we don't know when to harvest, all this stuff. And I'm trying to put together videos and kind of follow-up emails for people to be able to know and have little hey, now's the time for radish, or I see your peppers are ready. But they were interested in kind of doing a harvest and processing service. We could take the turmeric from their garden and process it into juices for them, or juice all the kale for the week for them, or, stuff like that. Because let's face it, even in my life, cooking and stuff takes a lot of the day. It's a huge task. So if we there could be systems where in our community, someone process it, people process different things. Someone makes the salsa every year out of all the stuff that requires salsa in our garden, and then there's really an abundance when we do it that way, and there's enough for a lot of people. So I'm thinking of doing co-op style eventually, once there's a lot of mangoes pumping and celery and stuff. So just some thoughts, but the key is planting. None of it's going to happen unless we plant. But I was also thinking about doing maybe a course on how to teach people how to start an edible landscaping business, like how to make it an enterprise, like you could, like what we do at Urban Abundance. So if you like that idea, you know, give us a comment or something below, because there really needs to be like thousands of companies like us to create the resilience and really do what we want to do, to localize delicious, organic, healthy produce to our backyards. It takes a village. That's how they say village in Germany. Village. All right, cool. These 2 beds are prime. Oh, these marigolds, I can't do it.
I know.
I can't do it, they're so good. We should leave one of them. I know.
I've never seen them that big, ever.
I know, it's crazy. Look at all these peppers, dude, these serranos. Serranos crush, man. The 4-bed rotation, man, is super pro. Like, I always suggest like 2 beds is good because you can rotate tomatoes and, you know, all the nightshades each year, but 4 is really, I think that like kind of gives each bed a break, meaning you don't want to plant the same thing in the same spot every year. So you want to change it up. Farmers have been doing that forever. So it's important to know that when you are doing it on a micro scale in your yard. So I like to have multiple planting spaces and change it up, you know. Even though longevity spinach grows forever, I kind of like to tear it out and compost it and start a new area when it's starting to look raggedy. You know, changing it up, especially with the delicate veggies. Rotation, crop rotation, it's a good lesson. Having 4 beds, it gives you a chance to give the soil a break from tomatoes. If you plant tomatoes in the same spot every year, they're gonna get nematodes and they won't grow. So you switch it up each year. And we help our clients with that. But hey Talia, can you take the pruners and harvest all her celery? A lot, not all of it, like, you know.
Okay.
Thanks. Yo. How's it going? Dude, we're gonna prune up these eggplants. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, sure.
Nice, and I'll start on the herb garden. Basically, all the nasty yellow leaves,
Okay.
get rid of them. But I want to do an arch trellis on one of these. Jeff was gonna gift them like an arch trellis.
Whoa.
You know, like those ones that.
Yeah. I
And
love those.
Isn't that cool?
I always wanted one.
I was thinking we could do that and blue butterfly pea. I know. Nice, this garden looks great. So look, this is cilantro, but it goes to seed, and that's what this is. So that's why it doesn't look like the little leafy cilantro, because here in the summer heat, it goes to seed really quick. But the cool part about it is you can eat this seed as coriander. It's like a really good spice they use on fish and all these amazing dishes. And she hit us up, she said, hey, can you harvest all the coriander seed? And that's what we're doing. Look how beautiful that is. And look, it's like, we're gonna harvest this, and then it frees up all this space for the thyme and the sage and the chives that have been trying to grow. So we just did the entire garden. Check it out. We did sweet potatoes in this bed, and we kind of planted little slips, about 7 or 8 in here, and then they should take off and have like 25, 30 potatoes if bugs don't get after it, if it has a great season. So sweet potato bed, and we're gonna let this Scotch bonnet do its thing. Then we kind of have a greens / more peppers bed. They really like peppers. So we're leaving the celery. It'll keep ripping for another month or so. Sorrel, Malabar spinach, okra, longevity spinach, and 4 peppers over here, sweet and hot. And that's bed number 2. Check it out. And bed number 3 is already producing. This is from this season. We're gonna leave this eggplant because it's just crushing. Look at all these flowers, and it's gonna produce heavy. And then it gets really hot and they kind of stop producing. and then they start producing again in the fall. So yeah, so eggplant and more peppers in this bed, more established. We're harvesting for her. We're gonna throw it on our countertop. So we popped in a New Zealand spinach in this bed too, and it'll kind of cover this outskirts. It's an amazing spinach. This spinach is actually what they plant in Costa Rica. So it likes tropical weather. That's why we're planting it in summertime in South Florida. That's actually the spinach they sell at the store in Costa Rica, because it's like their local spinach, you know? So I remember when I was there, I was buying spinach at the store and it was just bagged New Zealand spinach. So, which is rad. We can grow it here and it's tasty. It's just like spinach, you know? And then this is their cocktail garden or herb garden or, you know, beautiful cut flower garden. There's so many uses. We cut all this back if like you couldn't even see the soil before, which is awesome, but we harvested and got them a bunch of herbs. But we also planted this cranberry hibiscus. This is a beautiful complement in the garden. The leaves taste like lemons and it's like so beautiful. So I used to sell a ton of those at the farmer's market. Like that was probably my biggest seller because people would try the leaf and it's like, it's a no-brainer, it's so delicious. And it loves the summer heat. So these are all crops that are just gonna crush in summertime down here. So I'm glad we can kind of capture this process for you guys. Before we get out of here, I want to show you this one plant that I love. And it's this one right here. It's called rue. And it was hidden under all these coriander and parsley, and but now it's still living. And these will go right through summer. But this plant's really cool and it means a lot to me. There's a reason our ancestors, like I was learning that they've been using this plant in these ceremonies for thousands of years. So there's a lot of energy behind these plants that isn't just, you know, sustenance for our bodies, you know, vitamins and all this stuff. There's also like spiritual energy. Like our ancestors have been working with this ceremonially and intentionally for so many years. A lot of people say, oh, what do you do with it? It's like, it actually, if you ask, you know, a Guatemalan or someone from the Yucatan, what do you do with it? They would say, oh, it protects the household. So it's actually like probably even more powerful than like some of these crops you just use for sustenance, you know? So just shed a little light on some of these more powerful plants. Ruda is what they call it. So there you have it, our summer planting. You can eat crops right here and you can fish off the seawall. It's a beautiful thing. So check it out. It's May. We're switching our summer crops over. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. Planting renewed.